Nick Dasovic.
Hello everyone and welcome to Varsity Stadium in Toronto and TSN's continuing coverage of World Cup exhibition soccer. And today it's Germany against Canada on a spectacular late spring day in front of a sellout crowd. The temperature about 17 degrees Celsius. That's about 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Not much of a wind to speak about, and as we say, it is crystal blue skies, Graham Leggett. As we now welcome from Edmonton, Alberta, Anna-Maria Kaufmann. Anna-Maria Kaufmann, a native of Edmonton, who now makes her home in Europe and is a star of stage, screen, and all of German-speaking Europe. Anna-Maria Kaufmann with the German and Canadian national anthems in front of 20,000 here at Varsity Stadium in Toronto, as we are now moments away from kickoff. Germany in their final game before kicking it off against Bolivia in World Cup '94. And here are the starting 11, Graham.
And Berti Vogts is going with a flexible 5-3-2. Bodo Illgner in goal. At the back, Struns, Brehme, Kohler, and Thomas Berthold. Lothar Matthias will also be at the back playing sweeper libero. In midfield is Matthias Sammer and Hassler, and the French connection, Völler and Klinsmann up front.
As the two captains meet at midfield to exchange pennants, Lothar Matthias and Colin Miller. You see the referee there, that is Mr. Stephen Lodge, to do the coin flip. All these officials are from England. Working the near side linesman will be Brian Whittington, Mark War on the far side, and Michael Reed, the fourth official. So if we take a look at the starting 11 for head coach Bob Lenarduzzi.
And Bobby's going with a 4-2-4, Forrest in goal, Yallop, Watson, Samuel and Fraser the back four, Miller, Hooper, Dasovic and Aunger in midfield, and Carlo, Corazzin and Eddy Berdusco up front.
And there he is, Mr. Stephen Lodge from Barnsley. And as we say, all these officials, all four from England And Graham, they're going to work the remainder of this Canada exhibition series. Well, some people say he has an impossible job, Rudi Völler, to take over from Franz Beckenbauer and possibly leave Germany to a second straight World Cup title. As we are underway from Varsity Stadium in Toronto, it is Canada against Germany. And Graham, we expect a much different game, this game, as compared to Canada against Brazil.
Yes, indeed. Canada very much on a high after time with Brazil, but this is a totally different opponent. Brazil allowed Canada play a little. Germany are so totally efficient, well prepared, that this will be a severe challenge for the Canadian side.
Bodo Illgner has his first touch. For Thomas Strunz. Sammer in front of Lyndon Hooper. And now Frank Yallop will play it back. Craig Forrest wide left. Geoff Aunger keeps it in play. Mark Watson plays it square near side for Iain Fraser. Oh, the pass for Hooper is intercepted by Matthias Sammer. Fraser with the throw in as he looks for Carlo Corazzin. Andreas Brehme. For Rudi Völler. Klinsmann is at the top of the box. Sammer tries the square ball, looking for Bosler on the right wing. And Geoff Aunger will play it back. You notice anything already about the Germans compared to the Brazilians?
Well, it's a little early, 2 minutes into the game. They're just trying to get acclimatized. Obviously, they're a much more aggressive side. They'll play a lot more through balls to Völler and Klinsmann rather than build it up. But this is going to be a severe test. The holders, obviously, it's going to be a severe test.
Colin Miller, the Canadian captain, makes the overlapping run from midfield. Now Lyndon Hooper. Lyndon Hooper getting the start in midfield, didn't against Brazil. Here's an opportunity as Berdusco tries to make the run around Jürgen Kohler. Bobby Lenarduzzi has to be extremely pleased. A 1-1 tie against Morocco, and then that thrilling draw 1-1 against Brazil. Everyone's saying, you know, you're going to play Spain and Brazil, and Germany says they're all too close. And then, of course, at 5 finishes up with Holland. But they're all too close. Nobody can really get worried. He doesn't have time to. Strunz for Jürgen Kohler. Mario Bosler slides it through for Klinsmann, and too far and into the open arms of a waiting Craig Forrest, who was absolutely brilliant in that 1-1 tie against Brazil.
And Craig Forrest read that through ball well. Beautiful little chip through. Klinsmann couldn't quite reach it in time. And
Frank Yallop, Geoff Aunger. Little head through now. Carlo Corazzin, and headed back by Kohler to Illgner. Lothar Matthäus, the German captain, with his first touch. We are still early, 3 minutes in. First half, Germany, Canada from Varsity Stadium in Toronto. Thomas Berthold. Thomas Hassler gets it caught up. The field in tremendous condition here at Varsity Stadium on the campus of the University of Toronto. Strunz at midfield between Berdusco and Corazzin, tries to slide it through, and played very well by the back four of Canada.
But already we've seen Germany do what Brazil failed to do at Commonwealth Stadium, is get behind the Canadian defense. These diagonal balls beautifully played through from the midfielders.
Corazzin tries to get turned, can't, shields it well, plays it off to Aunger, now to Lyndon Hooper. He plays it square, Fraser, near side, this is Dasovic, his first touch, a little give and go with Hooper. Nice sliding tackle by Matthias Sammer to bring him down. And then Klinsmann couldn't get away for Germany. Berthold loses it. Hooper. But then Berthold gets back.
Coming in from behind. Free kick.
And it's Matthias Sammer, the 26-year-old, one of only 2 former East Germans to crack this national team.
Well, Hooper's in possession, but Sammer comes in from behind. Not the tackling foot, but the following leg. That's where the free kick occurred.
Frank Yallop from Ipswich curves it for the far post. Up gets Randy Samuel.
Corner
And
kick.
it'll be a corner as it went off the German defender, Thomas Strunz. From FC Cologne. He's been a member of the national team since '87. Bodo Illgner, the 27-year-old, a member of the '90 World Cup winning side. Geoff Aunger is there. So is Hooper. Aunger will curve it far post, and no problem for Bodo.
Like picking apples off a tree for Bodo Illgner. Tall goalkeeper, great hands. Germany's got about 4 goalkeepers who could all play in the World Cup.
Jürgen Klinsmann will give it to Iain Fraser for the throw-in, Canada. We've played just over 6 minutes. Still scoreless, Canada and Germany at midfield. Klinsmann lays it off as Thomas Strunz has moved up now from his right fullback spot, and then he just gives it away. Wide left for Canada, and at midfield, this is Geoff Aunger. Looks into the middle for Berdusco and expected Berdusco to turn, and Eddy didn't. Thomas Berthold can't control. Brehme for Jürgen Kohler and back as Berdusco gives chase. Just as we saw in Edmonton, the game against Brazil, the coaches, because this is a friendly and it's agreed to, will be able to make up to 6 substitutions. So we'll expect to see wholesale changes come the second half. Frank Yallop giving chase under some pressure.
Well played, goal kick.
As Rudi Völler applied the pressure on Frank Yallop.
Well, Yallop was in 2 minds whether to knock it behind for a corner kick or play it back to Craig Forrest. Did the wise thing. He tried to knock it for a corner kick, and Völler deflected it for a goal kick, but an awkward situation that would have been for Craig Forrest.
To midfield. Iain Fraser. This time plays it back. Forrest does well to get it to midfield. Jürgen Kohler wins the battle in the air with Eddy Berdusco.
And good play by Mark Warren, the linesman on the far side. Klinsmann had gone forward into an offside position, but because it had gone through to Forrest, allowed play to go on.
Kohler again, this time with Carlo Corazzin.
Big men at the back for Germany. Strunz, Kohler, Berthold, Brehme, and Sammer. Boy, they're all about 6 foot tall. Berdusco and Corazzin have got no chance in the air against these.
Colin Miller. And the first good opportunity of the game from a good distance, granted, belongs to Colin Miller.
I wouldn't describe it as a good opportunity. I would describe it as a hopeful effort from 40 yards out, but not bad to try it from there because the German defense is so disciplined, it's going to be very tough to get in behind them.
The head coach, Rudi Völler, and his team training in Nottawasaga, Ontario, about an hour north of Toronto, as they get acclimatized to a number of things. The time change, he brought them over a week early. The time change and also the weather. They expect the humidity to be a factor in this World Cup, and something that they're not quite used to in parts of Europe.
Well, they won't get acclimatized to humidity today in Toronto. This is only about the 2nd day of summer we've had here, and this is very pleasant for both sides to play in.
Matthias. Thomas Strunz has a look. Strunz into the middle for Rudi Völler. Klinsmann's at the top of the box. He puts it to Matthias, who has the look. This is Sammer. Sammer turns. Oh, and quickly surrounded as Nick Dasovic was back.
And that could well have been a free kick against Craig Forrest because Nick Dasovic played the ball back to the goalkeeper. Referee judging that it was a tackle and it wasn't really played back on purpose, but that could quite easily have gone as a free kick.
Eddy Berdusco with the foul, backing into Berthold. Mr. Stephen Lodge handling this game as well as Canada's game against Spain and the concluding game next Sunday against Holland.
That's where Canada have to be so careful today. The Germans so good at these long balls and running in behind the defenders. They cannot afford to leave one-on-ones. There has to be a covering defender there.
Little give and go. It doesn't work between Dasovic and Lyndon Hooper. Lyndon Hooper, Geoff Aunger, Eddy Berdusco are the three lineup changes from the starting 11 that took the field against Brazil.
And they deserved their place the way they played against Brazil in the second half.
Oh, Matthias sees the empty space, takes it, and now he lays it off. This is Thomas Strunz. Bosler is on the right. Bosler lays back, and now Strunz makes the run up the wing and into the area. And he's gently nudged away from play by Frank Yallop.
And already you see the difference in styles. The Brazilians love to play at the feet, work it in little patterns. The Germans like to play it in front of the front runners, let them run onto it. Both sides very effective with different styles.
Mark Watson has Hooper at midfield, but Hooper can't control, and it's Sammer. Dasovic, Colin Miller under some pressure from Völler, and he has Fraser now near side. Looks for Corazzin, but Berthold, as you say, the height advantage is evident very early with the Germans and the forwards of Canada.
Yeah, I think that Eddy and Carlo will have a tough time winning the ball in the air. But then if you look at the whole Canadian side as opposed to the German side, the height differential is tremendous.
Frank Yallop looking for Carlo Corazzin. Eddy Berdusco won't get there in time. And it's a corner for Canada.
Good challenge by Carlo Corazzin. Just got in the face of Kohler, as they say.
Geoff Aunger. Hooper, Geoff Aunger. You can hear Bodo Illgner.
Look at the right wing. Oh, he's gone the wrong way.
He gave it to Klinsmann, who steps over the tackle of Nick Dasovic. Frank Yallop down this right wing. Controlled by Brehme and into touch.
You know, Vic, to put this game into perspective, Germany have played 68 World Cup games, won 39, lost 14, tied 15, 145, 490 against. Canada played 3, 1-0, lost 3, tied 0.
Carlo Corazzin, edge of the box, can't get it across. Matthias is there. And finally cleared by Germany as Thomas Hassler, Brehme, near sideline, keeps it in play. Looking for Völler. Sammer. Lovely bit of touch. Thomas Hassler, and then Matthias Sammer is down for Germany. As we say, Sammer just one of 2 players, former East Germans, to make this now national team of Germany.
And once again, Colin Miller coming in just a little late. The ball had gone. Sammer had pushed it square. And referee Stephen Lodge right on the spot to blow it down.
He used to play for Dynamo Dresden.
Ooh, look out.
Thomas Hassler giving chase. Iain Fraser there to mark him. Hassler edge of the box, lays it off. This is Brehme. Cuts it in for Klinsmann. And then Klinsmann. As you can see, Klinsmann trying to talk it over with Völler. I expected you to run here, and you didn't.
And Völler saying, I expected you to let it run to me, and I would have laid. Oh, that's a free kick. He has to be booked for that. That is not the done thing, and Rudi Völler knows it. That was bad. Very, very bad. But it shows you that this is no friendly. This is a World Cup warm-up game, a dress rehearsal. Völler knows he can't put his foot in there. that should have been a yellow card. I think Mr. Stephen Lodge being very generous to allow Völler to keep going without being carded. If you thought this was a friendly, folks, you just got an indication that there's no such thing.
Well, certainly the Germans' attitude, I think, to the game changed dramatically after the 1-1 tie Canada played against Brazil. They studied the tapes after practice yesterday.
Yeah, but the German attitude is always the same, that this is the last game they're ever going to play and they want to win it. And that's what's carried them through so many World Cups. The never say die attitude, the will to win, the discipline. It's incredible.
Randy Samuel plays it to midfield. Dick Howard.
With the challenge by Colin on Sammer. Obviously Sammer caused all kinds of problems. Berti Vogts off the bench, looks down, probably Lenarduzzi. They both smile at one another and realise.
We apologize for the audio problems as the crowd responds to the nice tackle by Frank Yallop as Canada now bring it back towards the Germans. Berdusco tries to work the give and go with Corazzin. Geoff Aunger with the sliding tackle, and it will be a throw in for Canada.
Good ball.
They play it square to a wide open Matthias.
And Lothar Matthias always available. Offside there by Hessler, but Lothar Matthias, you will notice in this game, is always available. He's playing libero, semi-sweeper. He really doesn't have a responsibility to pick anybody up, but he covers his defenders and he makes himself available for the ball out of defense, and boy, can he ever use it.
The all-time leading international for Germany, Lothar Matthäus.
And he could well be, come the 17th of July, the first captain to ever lift the World Cup twice in a row. Brazil and Italy have won it in consecutive years, but the same captain did not lift the trophy. Lothar Matthäus could well be the very first ever.
Played just over 15 minutes, still scoreless, Germany and Canada from Varsity Stadium in Toronto. And we welcome viewers joining us in the United States on Prime Network. Hassler. And surrounded by Canadians, Hassler. Völler joins in as well now. Aunger can't get away. In very close quarters along that sideline. Berthold. Matthias, as they play it back now for Jürgen Kohler. Klinsmann, and he played it by Kohler to midfield, but Kohler does well. Thomas Strunz wide right. And hooked into the box, and no problem as Rudi Völler made a late challenge on Craig Forrest. Randy Samuel. Looking for Carlo Corazzin.
No contest as Jürgen Kohler just towers above Carlo Corazzin. Big centre back is huge.
Iain Fraser gives it away to Klinsmann. Völler chips it looking for Sammer, and then Sammer and Fraser collide.
Well, I think this is 6 of one and half a dozen of the other as they both tussle for the ball. Little extracurricular activity after the ball had gone out of touch.
Germany and Canada were still scoreless midway through this first half. Matthias chips it forward.
Look.
As he looks for Hassler. And it's headed back very neatly by Frank Yallop, who has looked very strong, starting at center back for Canada. Eddy Berdusco, one of the few times a Canadian has won the volley. Corazzin just can't get up and over Kohler, and hasn't so far and probably won't. Colin Miller chips it forward, looking for Berdusco. Berthold.
Beautiful. Dangerous, but beautiful.
Matthias looks for a breaking Klinsmann, but well read by Randy Samuel. Brehme looking for Klinsmann, but Yallop is there. Lyndon Hooper to take control for Canada. Through midfield. And the whistle. Dick Howard?
Yes, Vic, one of the things Bobby Lenarduzzi is concerned about on the bench is the amount of space that Geoff Aunger is allowing Strunz and Basler down the right side of the German team. They're getting a lot of opportunity, and Bobby getting onto Geoff to try and close them down and not allow them that space.
The German training staff is out very quickly, and that's the one thing in these friendlies that as a team going to the World Cup, you hopefully don't run into, and that is injuries.
Yeah, that's the one thing that the coach fears, to get a serious injury, because this is, I would think, Germany's starting lineup for opening day against Bolivia. This is their full side.
Oh, miss hit. But it squirts over to Geoff Aunger. Frank Yallop now to midfield. Wide on the left, Carlo Corazzin will play it back for the captain, Colin Miller from St. Johnstone's in the Scottish Premier Division. Mark Watson. Over the head of Corazzin, and Kohler handled it very easily. Now this is Dasovic, heads it back. Iain Fraser plays his soccer with the Colorado Foxes of the APSL. Corazzin. Kohler is there. Dasovic tries to curl it in. Can't chest it down. Berdusco still in. Berdusco! Berdusco with the best opportunity of the game. It remains scoreless. Germany, Canada, World Cup Exhibition Soccer on TSN. Welcome back to Varsity Stadium in Toronto as Carlo Corazzin makes an onside run. Plays it into the middle for Hooper, but just too many players as Matthias read it so well, Graham.
Beautifully read. Matthias was anticipating that short pass all the time and then used it beautifully to put it out to the right wing for Basler.
And Geoff Aunger, as Basler didn't expect that kind of coverage, as Aunger was on his back. In fact, Basler looked for the foul from the referee and didn't get it. Now it opens up. Here's the little angled run, and it is offside. Offside, Jürgen Klinsmann, called by the far side linesman, Mr. Mark Warren.
Just moved a little too quickly and was offside. Bobby realizes this. What a great effort by Eddy Berdusco. Spins, hits it. Oh, and it's just inches wide. Great effort by the hero of the Brazil game, Eddy Berdusco, who plays his club soccer now in Switzerland.
Again, the battle between Corazzin and Kohler is won by Kohler. Brehme, top of the box, under some pressure, to Kohler, and now to Brehme, who will bring it up this right wing. Ahead for Thomas Hassler.
Yeah, that's Iain Fraser coming in from behind again. Just give him a little rap in the back of the calf.
And that is something we should look for probably in the World Cup. That's an automatic now, isn't it?
Well, FIFA put out a directive to clamp down on tackling from behind, and I think it's long overdue.
Brehme had a look, and now he'll go back to the captain. Matthias to Berthold. Oh, and he almost gives it away. Lyndon Hooper. Randy Samuel has a look. Chips it up this right wing for Corazzin as they try to get Corazzin away from Kohler. And Berdusco may be guilty of getting the foot in on Matthias.
Well, I think it was Matthias' skill that caused that. He just sucked Eddy Berdusco in and was past him. Look out.
Downfield and too far for Matthias Sammer.
But I think it's a compliment to Canada that right now Lothar Matthias is playing behind his two centre-backs as a sweeper. He started off in front of them as a libero. And the way Canada's playing, he obviously thinks he has to go back in defence.
Eddy Berdusco, the challenge by Kohler. No foul, play on, says Mr. Stephen Lodge. Fraser looks for Corazzin, but Corazzin waited for the pass, and Sammer came around and was able to take it. As Bosler now has come to this left wing, as the Germans have swapped their wingers. Hassler has gone to the right, and Bosler has come to the left.
Well, that may actually help Canada, because Nick Dasovic does a super job of filling in that gap that Bobby Lenarduzzi was concerned about with Geoff Aunger.
Look who's making the run up that right wing. It is Matthias. Böller, Klinsmann are in the box. Matthias plays it back for Bosler. Hassler. Strunz. Hassler. Kohler at midfield. Gets away from Corazzin. Kohler has a look. Völler. Rudi Völler. Hooper marking him, trying to keep him square. Brehme. Völler. The call is for offside. They don't get it. Völler cuts it across, and Frank Yallop is there. And now this is Iain Fraser. Brehme, you almost want to hold your breath.
Well, that's true. Certainly end-to-end action, and the Germans expected this to be a nice little warm-up for them. They're getting a little surprised, but
very nice little touch as Berdusco was able to chest it down to Corazzin, but the return pass is read so well by the Germans. In this case, it was Kohler. It's been sold out for weeks. 20,000 standing room only for this World Cup exhibition prior to USA 94 between Germany and Canada from Varsity Stadium in Toronto. Kohler, Hassler, and he'll play it back. Randy Samuel will win the ball in the air. Now this is Hassler. Klinsmann, Völler make their runs into the box. Bosler. Brehme.
great goal.
Matthias wide open, right side. Matthias gets by Aunger, and then Berdusco with a lovely sliding tackle against the world-class Lothar Matthias.
Great challenge back by Eddy Berdusco to cut down the threat of, just look at it again, coming in from behind. He makes sure he doesn't make contact with Matthias, gets the ball, pushes it wide. Excellent tackle for a striker especially.
Geoff Aunger. This is Mark Watson. Chips it past the forwards.
And Mark Watson and Iain Fraser have switched fullback positions. Mark Watson played right back against Brazil, and Iain Fraser left back. They've switched over today. Obviously, Bobby wants Mark Watson out on the right wing against Hessler, but Hessler's had enough. He's coming over here to try Iain Fraser.
Sammer through the middle. It's opening up. This is Bosler. Nick Dasovic. Bosler for Klinsmann. And it'll squirt to Mark Watson very calmly. Nice 1, 2, 3, and Geoff Aunger on the left wing. There's a dramatic difference, Graham. I don't know. I suspect you've seen it too. There's a calmness now about this Canadian side that we haven't seen in the past.
Well, there's a confidence too, and there's a willingness to retain the ball and try and take people on and look for someone to push it short instead of hit it long. And it's very encouraging.
Corazzin. Geoff Aunger chips it through. Berdusco is there. Kohler is right on his back. Now Hassler will join in, and with Hassler's help, the Germans win the ball.
Well, Eddy Berdusco made a great challenge back. Hassler just made one on Eddy there, so they're all square at one each.
Klinsmann looks for Völler. Randy Samuel giving chase. Klinsmann is at the top of the area. Brehme. And back. Brehme. Kohler will now dart for the top of the area. Hit it in. Yes, it is Sammer. 1-0 Germany.
What a beautiful left foot Brehme has. As soon as he was all alone on the left wing, danger was written all over that cross. Andreas Brehme has got a magic left foot. And the header, well, the header was just a formality. No challenge, all alone, no chance for Craig Forrest. 1-0. Beautiful left foot, magnificent cross, powerful header, but no challenge. 10 out of 10 for that goal. 1-0 Germany.
Matthias Sammer, who plays his soccer with Borussia Dortmund, scores in the 30th minute, and Germany has the 1-0 lead. Frank Yallop will take this free kick. Randy Samuel has moved up. He plays it short, top of the area. Geoff Aunger. Oh, it skipped off a defender and into the diving arms of Bodo Illgner. Strunz plays it for Illgner. Brehme is on the left. Berthold is on the right, and he'll give it to Berthold. Matthias. Matthias turns away from Aunger. Looks for Klinsmann. Colin Miller. Berdusco. Hooper. Mark Watson under some pressure, and now the Canadians are feeling all kinds of it. Jürgen Klinsmann. Oh my goodness, it was there, and he just stumbled a little bit, Graham.
Hesitate a little bit. It's unlike Jürgen Klinsmann to hesitate. He's usually very positive at his through runs, but I think he was looking to see if he should lay it off. While he made his mind up, Randy Samuel came back, got a little touch, and Craig Forrest tied it up. But the Germans really showing that this is a real test, a real game, a dress rehearsal for the defense of the World Cup title, and they're playing like world champions. The aggressiveness is in this game that we didn't see in the Brazil game. The intensity and the aggression.
Throw in quickly taken. Geoff Aunger looking for some help. Carlo Corazzin, and Hassler gets back, and it will be another corner for Canada.
Thomas Hassler, midfield player for AS Roma, really doing well at coming back and helping his defense. Obviously, along with Lothar Matthias, the two small men in the German side, everybody else is huge.
Randy Samuel has moved up. Colin Miller has joined them in the box. Cut in, looking for Randy Samuel. Kohler is down and clutching the back of his head.
He's collided with Randy Samuel as they both went bravely for that cross. Jürgen Kohler took it right on the back of the head as Randy Samuel challenged. Randy Samuel also holding his head. He probably off treatment too. This is, as you said, what Berti Vogts does not want to see.
Injury timeout. Germany with a 1-0 lead. World Cup Exhibition Soccer on TSN. A concerned German bench and head coach Rudi Völler as the defender, 28-year-old Jürgen Kohler from Juventus, is still down and being treated after that collision, Graham.
Well, when two big men meet, you can hear the clash up here. Randy Samuel and Jürgen Kohler go for the ball. You can see the impact. Oh, that you don't like to see that, but luckily Jürgen Kohler is on his feet. Berti Vogts breathes a sigh of relief. Randy Samuel's okay, so Mr. Stephen Lodge of Barnsley will drop the ball in midfield and say, let's get on with it.
Kohler has been a member of the German national team since 1986 and was a member of the 90 winning team. So many players, Graham, still with this team. It's such a veteran side, and it is a team that is also getting a little aged now.
Well, aged is a euphemism. I know it's experience is what counts with the German side, and they have this discipline. They have this ability to create opportunities from absolutely nothing. And Berti Vogts must be delighted to have so many veterans in his side, because they come up through the system. He doesn't have to change a thing. He just takes over and picks the team.
Geoff Aunger tries to chip it through. Matthias is back. And then Sammer will clear. Geoff Aunger looking for Berdusco, and Kohler is right there. Strunz is back as well. Own goal of this first half from Matthias Sammer. At 30 minutes has Germany on top, 1-0. Sammer at midfield. Matthias. Brehme. Brehme has a look. Ships it, looking for Völler. Samuel was there for Canada. Basler gives it away. Dick Howard.
Yes, Vic, just interesting talking to Jürgen Klinsmann yesterday about the management styles of Berti Vogts as opposed to Franz Beckenbauer. Vogts more a tracksuit coach on the field with the players. Beckenbauer very much letting his assistants doing the job. But obviously, when you've got talent that the Germans are, you don't have problems there. But certainly a different style, he says, and they both got their strengths and maybe their weaknesses, but certainly no weaknesses in the game today, that's for sure.
Strunz to midfield, and in fact there was some problem between these former teammates, assistant and head coach Beckenbauer and Vogts, and I guess it had to do with the German replay.
Yeah, well, the differences are settled now. Actually, they were teammates in '74 when Germany won the World Cup. Well, there's no such thing as a friendly. Big number 16, Sammer, tackled by Colin Miller. Then Geoff Aunger comes diving in. Sammer is furious, but all it resulted in was a throw-in.
Frank Yallop deep on the left wing, looking for Carlos Corazzin. Can't keep it in play. And in fact, the argument between Vogts and Beckenbauer was over the release of players. One for national, and then I guess he wanted some for Bayern, didn't he?
Yeah, there's always a club and country conflict when there's important issues at stake, like cup finals and league titles, and the national team manager always thinks that he has the first call to the players, and the club manager always thinks because he's paying the players, he should have first call on them.
Kohler not happy with the call from Mr. Stephen Lodge, but it presents an opportunity now to see this free kick and the German defensive wall.
Well, the German defensive wall is certainly tall enough. It'd be pretty tough to chip it over it.
Frank Yallop.
Awkward ball to hit when it's pushed wide like that and you're trying to hit it round the wall. Frank Yallop cut it a little too much, and it was no challenge at all for Bodo Illgner, the FC Cologne goalkeeper. He scored some great free kicks for Ipswich Town. He can certainly crack them, Frank.
Illgner past midfield as Samuel wins the ball in the air with Klinsmann. Berdusco to Hooper, a little give and go, looking for the angled run, cut off neatly by Strunz. Thomas Berthold for Germany. Hassler, wide right. Basler is now wide left. Strunz ahead and onside. My goodness, Völler has an opportunity. Völler, oh my goodness, it danced along the goal line. The Canadians looking at the far side linesman, Mr. Mark Warren, looking for the offside. They didn't get it.
No, and it was a brilliant run by Rudi Völler. just timed his run perfectly to coincide with the pass. He was going forward as the red shirts were coming out. And it was a brilliant run. Forrest does all he can, but look at Klinsmann right in the middle, waiting for the ball to be cut back, and he'll be saying something to Rudi Völler right now, as Basler just cannot put it in from the tough angle. Great run by Völler, but he should really have cut it back to Jürgen Klinsmann, who just had a tap in.
And on the play, Frank Yallop looked to get all tied up, Graham, and maybe step over his own feet awkwardly because he's down in the goal area.
Yeah, it looked as if he turned an ankle trying to just overstretch to cut out that cross. The Canadians, as we said earlier, have to be very careful about being caught square. They were caught square there with no cover at all. Peeled for offside, didn't get it. Yeah, look at Frank as he's trying to reach back for it on his standing ankle, and it just turns. But no chance at all for Basler to cut it in from that angle. These through balls by the Germans and the timing of the runs are going to cause the Canadian defense all sorts of problems all afternoon unless they get a cover deep inside there.
Brehme hooks it upfield. Yallop seemingly not bothered by that ankle now as he nods it back for his keeper, Forrest.
Yeah, a little nudge by number 2, Thomas Struns. Really didn't have to nudge Eddy there. There was no danger that Eddy was going to beat Thomas Struns to the ball, but the German fullback called for the foul, and waiting for Randy Samuel to get up to the far post.
Looking for Randy Samuel, who had moved up, but Berthold won that battle. Matthias, oh lovely. Now watch Matthias spring into the attack, and the through ball is Matthias. Now it's ahead for Klinsmann. Völler is up as well, and they cut it back and off of Fraser, and it will be a German corner. My goodness, how quickly they can go from defense to offense.
That's one of the strengths, the transition from the back to the front, and it's the old man Lothar Matthias who was showing the way. In fact, the younger players couldn't get up to support him.
Brehme will take this corner as the referee asks that Geoff Aunger take his 10 yards back. Brehme cuts it, headed away, opportunity, and Basler was right there and rattled it off the outside of the post.
Germans very, very good at set plays. Brehme's left foot, all the big men come into the far post and they play it to the far post. Clipped on, number 21 Basler wraps it, covered by Forrest off the post. But the Germans bring the big men to the middle of the goal, then knock it over them to a trailer coming in, and it's been very effective in the warm-up games in America earlier this year.
We're into the final couple of minutes here in the first half. 1-0 Germany on the goal by Matthias Sammer. Dasovic. Matthias, a little nod forward by Klinsmann, has Rudi Völler. Brehme makes a run on the left. Sammer following up through the middle, and now Sammer will take it himself. Corazzin over to mark him, and Geoff Aunger joins in. Hassler overlaps. Mark Watson to have a go at him. And it'll curve into the corner of the net. And Hassler will take this corner for Germany in the dying moments of this first half. Klinsmann and Kohler are the only players up in the box. Corazzin coming back to mark, heads it away. Hassler deep right. Now Kohler is up, and this time it is Mark Watson, as the Canadians are under all kinds of pressure late in this first half. And we suspect that Mr. Stephen Lodge will add some time on for injury. Chip forward, looking for Berdusco, and then Matthias coming through, and apparently looking like he puts a shoulder into the back of Berdusco. Play on, says the referee. Randy Samuel, Lyndon Hooper trying to control. Now he plays it square, and Fraser is going to have to hustle to keep it in play. Fraser looking for Berdusco. Oh, goodness! Where did Geoff Aunger come from? That's where the Germans are wondering, because suddenly Aunger was in a great position.
Crept in on the blind side behind Thomas Struans. Unfortunately for Canada, Geoff Aunger goes to the near post instead of hitting a cross goal to the far post. Nice header, but well covered by Bodo Illgner. Header to the far post. He could well have got a rebound off the goalkeeper, but to the near post, no chance to sneak it past Illgner.
Randy Samuel back for Canada, with Hassler going step for step. Quickly in. This is Klinsmann. Klinsmann for Brehme, who plays it square. Sammer. Struns makes the run, and then Yallop following up. And it'll be Thomas Struns now on the far side with the throw in for Germany. Völler faces two Canadians and loses. Cleared away by the keeper Forrest, and it'll be a throw in for Canada. Well, I was expecting, and maybe no disrespect to the Canadians, I expected them to maybe fall apart a little bit after giving the goal. Full credit to them for not.
No, but you can see that Germany are just turning it up a little notch. Back four for Canada, stretched to the limit right now to contain Völler and Klinsmann, but then every country in the World Cup will be contained to be stretched to contain Völler and Klinsmann.
Mark Watson makes the run and clears it back.
Good play.
And it's Forrest giving it right back to a wide open Watson. Boy, you can see how quickly the Germans are there and the pressure the Canadians are under. As we say, it's agreed upon 6 substitutions you can make in this friendly, so we'll be interested to see what substitutions both teams, Bob Lenarduzzi for Canada and Berti Vogts for Germany, make to possibly start the second half. Hassler at midfield. Matthias can't get by Dasovic. Hooper will chest it down, and then Matthias gives him a little push, and the foul is on the German captain. Mr. Lodge still hasn't looked at his watch. We are in injury time of this first half. 1-0 for Germany. Corazzin heads it down, but no Canadian was following up. The goal scorer, Sammer, to Brehme, and has it taken away by Corazzin. This is Dasovic. Hassler then takes it back. Völler to Sammer. He looks for Klinsmann. Bosler makes the run. Bosler across for Völler. Sammer can't get there. It was Völler first, and then Sammer. It remains 1-0 for Germany. And now Mr. Lodge has his first look at his watch.
Referee Stephen Lodge from Barnsley, a true Yorkshireman, enjoying this first half. He doesn't want it to end. Now he does. Good first half. Germany, obviously the superior team, had most of the ball. Good performance by Canada, 1-0 against the world champions. Not a bad effort at all.
The only goal of the first half coming in the 30th minute, it was Matthias Sammer scoring for Germany. As you can see, Jürgen Kohler is still holding the back of his head as he leaves the field here at Varsity after that collision with Randy Samuel.
And for my money, the player of that first half was number 16, Matthias Sammer, the big red-haired midfielder, is back in defense. There he goes, number 16. He has earned his cup of tea at halftime. He comes forward to support his forwards. What a game he's had.
In front of a full house of 20,000 here at Varsity Stadium in Toronto, it's Germany 1, Canada nothing. Still to come. Highlights from Graham and thoughts from Dick Howard. World Cup Exhibition Soccer here on TSN.
Germany leading Canada 1-0 after the opening half. The same situation Canada faced after the first 45 minutes of the game against Brazil last Sunday in Edmonton. One of the major stories of the upcoming World Cup will be the heat and humidity in the games in the United States. To prepare for that, the Germans were looking for a place that would provide those conditions. They found that about an hour north of Toronto, Nottawasaga is the site of their pre-World Cup training camp. With only 9 days to go before their opening match in World Cup '94, the Germans have come to Nottawasaga Inn to fine-tune their game. But 90 hero Lothar Matthias is thinking only of the final tune-up.
No, in this moment I think a lot of the friendly game with Canada. The first match in the World Championships is an important match for us and for the people on the television. For me it's important in this moment, the match after tomorrow with Canada.
Regardless of the outcome of today's friendly with Canada, strikers Rudi Völler and Jürgen Klinsmann form part of a powerful attack that has Germans believing in their chances to repeat.
Oh, I think that we have good chances to win the title also here in America, because 12 players of the last World Championships are now in this team. We are 4 years older, but in Germany they said there's no old or young players, only good or bad players.
We have many matches, and when you have lucky you can win, and when you have no lucky you are the loser.
Dick Howard with me once again on the sidelines. Your impressions of the first half?
Well, I think Graham summed it all up when he talked about Matthias Sammer, you know, so strong coming through midfield, and that's the thing that's impressed. Down at ground level, you see the mobility of this German team. It's very difficult for the Canadian defenders to pick them up, track them down. A real battle in midfield. If Bobby Lenarduzzi doesn't correct that at half-time, it's going to be a long second half for the Canadian team.
Let's get an idea of what the Germans are facing in the upcoming World Cup tournament, because it's very interesting. A lot of people talking about favorites and who should win. And strangely enough, the defending World Cup champions, in my mind anyway, aren't getting their due. Here's their World Cup schedule in the preliminary round anyway. They open against Bolivia, then Spain, and the Korean Republic. Now, Dick, you look at that, and you've got to think that of all the teams that are contenders, Germany has the easiest way out of the first round.
I think they do. When you look at the situation there, they're going to be looking at the Bolivians this week. Berti Vogts' assistant, Rainer Bonhoff, is going to watch the game and see them play against a Swiss team, but it's a relatively easy opening for them. The Koreans should be no problem, and again, it'll be the physical aspects. You know, they're so strong, this German team. They win the one-on-one battles. That's going to win them, I think, the first two games. The Spanish game will be a tough one because Spain always very competitive, and that will probably be the two teams that will go through.
Is it fair to characterize this German team as a team without, say, the big stars internationally, but a team that plays the game together as well as anyone?
Well, it's impressive. You know, looking at it today, you've got, you know, players like Matthias at the back, Brehme, Klinsmann, but they're playing very much as a unit today and working for one another. It's going to make them very strong in the United States.
We did mention it before, though. Canada trailed 1-0 against Brazil on Sunday. We'll see if the Canadians come out a comeback in the second half. We're back with more as TSN's World Cup exhibition soccer coverage continues in just a moment. Is Canada's future so bright this fella has to wear shades? We'll see in the second half. Germany now leading, though, 1-0 after the opening 45 minutes. Welcome back to Varsity Stadium in Toronto. Our TSN World Cup soccer coverage is just getting underway. We brought you the game last Sunday from Edmonton, and our coverage continues through the weekend here on TSN with more World Cup exhibition matches. First of all, coming up on Friday, we've got Canada against Spain. That's at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 Pacific, and then we wrap it up with exhibition coverage June the 12th against Holland at 1:30 Eastern Time, 10:30 a.m. Pacific. And don't forget to kick off the World Cup for you here on TSN, our complete World Cup preview show Thursday, June 16th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Everything you want to know about the upcoming World Cup. Everything you want to know about the first half. Here is Vic and Graham.
And what we found out, I think, is that this German side, considering all their experience and that this indeed is a friendly, they are prepared and they don't have a lot of tuning up to do.
No, they don't have a lot of tuning up to do. The Germans leave nothing to chance. They're in mid-World Cup form already, and the Canadians are having a rough time just to keep pace with them. It's been a wonderful opportunity to see players like Matthias and players like Klinsmann just work the ball superbly.
We were a little, we didn't know what to expect from the Canadians. You know, adrenaline can only take you so far, and they have to be a little bit tired, but the first good opportunity did belong to Canada, and it was the hero from Sunday, the goal scorer, Eddy Berdusco.
And Eddy took this chance so well. He spins very quickly, wraps it towards Illgner, but unfortunately slices it just a touch, and it goes wide of the near post.
You made the point that the Germans started to stretch out the Canadians just a little bit, and you, as you say, you can see them start to turn it up and work certain things as they get acclimatized. Remember, they only arrived this past Monday, and then they finally broke through in the 30th minute.
And they always seem to have an extra man. They always seem to create the overlap. And if you get the ball wide on the left wing to Brehme, then it's got danger all over it, because he's got just a superb left foot. And that's exactly what happened in the 30th minute. Crosses it to the far post. Big Sammer rises unchallenged, powers it past Craig Forrest. No chance at all. This really is a beautiful cross by the fullback Brehme. Nobody picks up Sammer at the far post. Craig Forrest has to stay on his line. The big midfielder rams it past Forrest. 1-0 Germany.
And it is really true what you say. You know, you can spend so much time looking for people such as a Völler or a Klinsmann, and here comes this Matthias Sammer, the former East German national. And where did he come from?
Well, I tell you, he breaks so well from midfield. He comes forward like a tank, and everybody, the transition from defense to offense for this West German team, I used to call them, now we call them the German side. It's just unbelievable, and that's why they're the world champions and have got a great chance of being repeat world champions.
As we say, both teams are allowed 6 substitutions, so we'll be very interested to see what kind of changes Bob Lenarduzzi and Berti Vogts decide to make as we get ready for the second half. Yes, they have come from all over southern Ontario and upstate New York and Michigan. There's a large German population on hand for this sold-out game between Germany and Canada, Gord.
There certainly is, Vic, and we got it made on a beautiful day on a sunny Friday afternoon in Toronto. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Welcome back to Varsity Stadium in Toronto as the second half is just underway. Germany and Canada, and quickly the Germans on the attack, and Karl-Heinz Riedel, who takes over for Jürgen Klinsmann, and he has a quick, fresh legs, and he has the first opportunity.
Certainly did. Broke quickly through Karl-Heinz Riedel, but Randy Samuels, step for step, just put him off balance and caused him to shoot high and wide. Also into the game, number 5, Heiner in place of Jürgen Kohler. Kohler, of course, took that knock with Randy Samuel in the first half, so centre back now is number 5, Heiner.
Geoff Aunger for John Catliffe, who has come into the game for Canada. There you see Thomas Helmer, the 29-year-old who plays for Bayern Munich. A substitution for Canada is number 9, John Catliffe, who has come into the game to replace Eddy Berdusco in the starting forward position. And so it'll be interesting to see if that, as it did against Brazil, starts to draw some defenders, because certainly he is one of the bigger players. Also into the game and making a run, that is Rudi Völler, who enters the game for Canada to begin this second half. Völler from the Montreal team, Montreal Impact of the APSL, scored the goal against Morocco a week ago. Colin Miller nods it down. This is Catliffe with his first touch. Lyndon Hooper, Iain Fraser, Geoff Aunger, Carlo, Corazzin, Miller, Aunger. Aunger can't get by the sliding tackle of Helmer. Rudi Völler enters the game, the 26-year-old, picking up just his second international cap. The Canadians now, Graham, you can see everybody pushing up. This is Frank Yallop. Oh, it was running so nicely, it seemed, and then he got all caught up. Strunz. Bosler makes the run. It's onside. This is Bosler. Bosler! Oh, well played by Craig Forrest. He came out Brehme and cut down the angle so well. So both teams making 2 substitutions to start this second half. Lovely through ball. Hassler with Fraser giving chase. Völler and Riedel are in the box. Hassler 1-2. Hassler trying to turn, and my goodness, Fraser stood right there with him and took it away. Berthold wins the ball. Fraser now nods it upfield, and lovely touch by the Germans to regain control. Oh, look at that. He played it left, Hassler looking for Völler, and Völler went right. Frank Yallop to midfield. So it's Helmer and Riedel in for Germany. Catliffe and Dolescat for the Canadians as they look for Catliffe and Corazzin at the far post. John Catliffe, the 29-year-old who plays for the Vancouver 86ers, a former Golden Boot winner as top scorer twice in the Canadian Soccer League in 1988 and 1990.
And certainly made a big difference, winning balls in the air when he came on in the second half against Brazil. Interesting to see that Bobby Lenarduzzi has taken off young Mark Watson and put Rudi Dolescat in the right back position for Canada. Catliffe, of course, assumes his normal place as the target man.
But it'll be interesting as Geoff Aunger's tackle brings down Thomas Strunz.
Well, Geoff Aunger's not a tackler. That's not his forte, and it's shown 2-3 times today. Just a little late there. You can see Geoff Aunger going for the ball. Strunz gets to it first. Aunger just way late as he dives in, and that's a forwards tackle on a fullback. Had it been the other way around, perhaps there would have been no incident at all. Strunz loves to come forward. Scores many, many goals for VfB Stuttgart.
The 26-year-old Thomas Strunz. And Strunz will put it into play to Berthold. And back to Strunz. Basler. And Strunz quickly shaking off the injury. Curves it far post. Oh, and Dolescat. Berti Vogts not happy with the attack, figuring they may have been able to do more with it.
I think Berti Vogts was annoyed that 3 players all went to the same position. There was no depth in their attack there. One ball past them all.
To the far post. It rattles around, and now it's Fraser off his knees, and Dasovic under some quick pressure does well to get it to Dolescat to Colin Miller. Plays it square. Randy Samuel. Hooper is on the right. Catliffe joins him there. Corazzin and Dolescat are wide left. Colin Miller calls for it. Berthold. This is Dolescat. He scored. Oh! With the right foot, it curved away from that top right corner, Rudi Dolescat.
And he's lining up at right back. All of a sudden, he shows up on the left wing. Scored, of course, in Canada's 1-1 tie with Morocco. And Bobby, I think, quite encouraged by the start of the second half. The Germans seem to have raised their game a notch, but so far it's still 1-0.
Strunz with Samuel giving chase, and Randy Samuel, who plays his football, his soccer in Holland with Fortuna Sittard, makes the nice sliding tackle. Quickly taken. Völler trying to bust his way through a couple of Canadian fenders and can't. Helmer to Berthold near side. Basler through the middle for Matthias and Hooper. Matthias and Hooper, stride for stride. Little Lyndon Hooper. Watching Matthias, and now he plays it back for Helmer. He'll go wide left. Brehme back to Helmer. Now this is the fullback now has made this run. Helmer curves it, looking for Riedel. And oh my, how close it was. And it will go to Canada. Dick Howard.
Bobby Lenarduzzi at the start of the second half, any changes? No, he said he wants the team to play as they played in the first half. Obviously concerned about Sammer's runs, and he's just asking the defenders to pass him on so that he's always covered. We saw what happens, obviously, if you let him free. But nothing different from the Canadian team for the second half.
Craig Forrest puts the ball back in play. Catlett flicks it forward, and see, there's the height. Those balls just weren't won in the first half. So that is something that Lenarduzzi has to be happy for, as he looks to possibly make another substitution. Ian Carter from Peterborough in England.
Oops. Little obstruction by Nick Dasovic against little Thomas Hassler. Boy, what a game. He's back and forward like a robot, Thomas Hassler. What a good little player.
Berthold. Bosler chips it forward, and it is on this near side. Thomas Strunz, and it's remarkable, Graham. There they are, the back four overlapping, but then again, we saw that with Brazil as well. As we have now the third substitution for Canada, and coming out of the game, wearing number 14, Ian Fraser, and coming in, wearing number 3, the 26-year-old Ian Carter, a former All-Star in the Canadian Soccer League in 1992.
And that's rather strange because Watson and Fraser, two of the back four who were so superb against Brazil, are now in the showers. And Ian Carter and Rudi Völler have got the responsibility of preventing the Germans breaking on the wings. And that's going to be a big responsibility because you can only see the Germans getting stronger as this game goes along.
Well, they're starting to find their legs after their flight from Germany, arriving around noon on Monday. Had a full day of practice on Tuesday, and now it's a game conditions here on Wednesday in Toronto as Riedel goes over the outstretched leg of Geoff Aunger.
And unfortunately, as we mentioned before, it's Geoff Aunger who has to make the final tackle, and he's not really a tackler. That was once again an awkward tackle that a fullback wouldn't have made. But I tell you, number 16, Matthias Sammer, he promises to be a star in this upcoming World Cup. Easily identified with his reddish hair, tall, strong, he just powers forward.
Mario Bosler lays it off. This is Matthäus. He has Strunz wide right as Völler and Riedel make runs into the area. Chips it back for Strunz, and Ian Carter will clear. Chested by Matthäus to Hassler. Look at this lovely through ball. And getting there was Geoff Aunger. And it'll go as a corner as Bosler forced to go the long way around.
And well done, Geoff. That was like a fullback. Perfect timing, because otherwise, like the last two you made, it would have been a penalty kick. Nice ball inside. Good tackle by Geoff Aunger to prevent Mario Bosler from breaking clear.
Bosler, the 25-year-old for Werder Bremen, will take this corner. Early in the second half, we played about 10 minutes. To the far post, getting up was Nick Dasovic in front of Hassler.
And there they want their normal corner. The big men go to the near post. All the big Canadians go to the near post. And little Thomas Hassler challenged for the cross.
Forrest in front of Riedel.
Yeah, but Riedel got up there just in case it flicked off Greg Forrest's fingertips. Big centre forward, Karl-Heinz Riedel.
Völler, Hassler, and gives it back, finds his feet enough to give it back, and he looks like he may have turned a ankle on that play, Graham. Here's an opportunity. Bosler, oh my goodness. And Riedel is saying you didn't have to hit it that hard. You could have maybe done something a little bit more quiet with it. But there's concern for the Germans because of the injury to Hassler.
Well, this ball sort of flicks off Ian Carter right to number 21, Mario Bosler. A normal striker would just have smoothed it into the far post, but he tries to blast it in and hooked it miserably wide. Unfortunately, Thomas Hassler, in creating the first move of that attack, I think he may have twisted an ankle. We've seen one or two like that as he stretched to cut it with the outside of his foot. And once again, Berti Vogts sweating bullets on the bench.
Thomas Hassler from AS Roma. The 89 German Footballer of the Year is down. Germany leads 1-0. Hassler is up. Thomas Hassler, and back in position for the Germans as we are underway. We have played 14 minutes of this second half from Varsity Stadium in Toronto, and it remains 1-0. Germany on the first half goal by Matthias Sammer. Lothar Matthäus. Brehme ahead for Hassler. And the offside near side linesman, Mr. Brian Wigington from Bristol, makes the call as the Canadians get ready to make another substitution. Getting ready to come in is Dominic Mobilio. And he'll likely replace Carlo Corazzin up front for Canada. Lyndon Hooper, Iain Carter, Corazzin, and now the substitution, and indeed, Graham, it will be Carlo Corazzin coming out for Dominic Mobilio.
And you need a big piece of paper to put these changes on. We normally have 11 names on each side, but with 6 substitutes, I think we're going to be pretty squeezed to get them all in. But it's a great idea for Bobby Lenarduzzi to get all of his players this invaluable experience playing against the world champions. And of course, Berti Vogts wants to see his squad perform too.
Geoff Aunger, a nice little bit of 1-2, just fails to work as Strunz gets over. Berthold. Oh, a giveaway. Dasovic. Oh, Matthias. One bounce the other way, and it may have been a great opportunity, but Matthias got the bounce of the ball there. Dasovic tried to curl it in, and Dominic Mobilio is saying you could have given it right back.
A little bit of sloppy play there as both sides couldn't get hold of the ball. Oh.
Well, it's Völler and Aunger, and Rudi is called for the foul.
A couple of rather crude tackles by Mr. Völler. Obviously taking this game seriously, and so he should. He's sort of swamped out by the red shirts here as Geoff Aunger comes in, and Völler just whips the ankles from under him. I don't mind that. As a former striker, I like to see the strikers getting their own back now and again.
Rudi Doloskat was wide right. He plays the angled ball to Hooper, and Doloskat following up. Hassler there. Dasovic is wide right. This is Doloskat. Now he needs some help. Doloskat will lay it off for Colin Miller. Colin Miller rattles it through, and it'll just run too far, and it goes off the defender, and it will be a corner for Canada.
Well, Rudi Doloskat did have some help there. He had Nick Dasovic standing wide on the right wing, screaming for it. And you'd think they'd understand each other. They both play for the Montreal Impact.
So Catliffe is up. So is Mobilio. Doloskat. Samuel is up for Canada. Near post and headed away. Iain Carter. Oh, he couldn't control. Now this is Hooper. Oh, Hooper gives it right back, but Matthias is there to clean up the loose ball.
That's what he's there for. Right now he's playing as a sweeper, and he's doing a superb job.
Catliffe, Berthold. It's interesting, Graham, it's changed a little bit at the back now with Catliffe into the game for Canada. The Germans seem to be a little bit more concerned as Dasovic does well to get away from Brehme. Lyndon Hooper, Iain Carter. As this crowd of 20,000 start to come alive, maybe they can sense the Canadians starting to take the game a little bit to the Germans. And then Mobilio gives it away. Völler can't turn as Samuel does very well. Randy Samuel to seal the ball from Rudi Völler. Iain Carter for Catlett, but he won't win this race.
Ooh, the strength of Thomas Helmer. My apologies, Thomas, for calling you Heiner coming into the game. I couldn't read my own writing. Thomas Helmer, of course, a very strong centre-back, and certainly outmuscled John Catlett on that occasion.
Matthias Basler, Sammer, Rudi Völler. And Randy Samuel's challenge is called. Hassler, Brehme, wide left for Riedel, Karl-Heinz Riedel. Yallop is over. Hassler runs up, so does Völler. Hassler has the eighth battle now, and Hooper will win it from Hassler and play it back for Forrest. To midfield, yes. For one of the few times, Catlett wins the ball from Berthold in the air.
Ooh, and Basler took no chances there. He wanted nothing to do with that tackle by Ian Carter. Just flipped it through to nobody.
Geoff Aunger now is back. Uh-oh, Samuel. It sort of just skipped away from his right foot, but he recovered in time. Healed back by Catlett. Ahead for Mobilio. It doesn't work. And this is Carter whose feet couldn't keep up with what he wanted to do. Carter. Mobilio. The challenge from Helmer, and it'll be a throw-in for Canada.
And the crowd getting it into it now as Canada enjoying more possession of the ball.
Why is that?
I don't know. I really don't know. Germany, I thought, had raised the level of the game, but Canada obviously has raised the level of their game, and it looks like David Norman is going to come into the game.
Well, this first substitution will be by Germany as number 70, Martin Wagner from Kaiserslautern comes in.
For Hassler.
For Thomas Hassler. So 17, Martin Wagner is in.
Martin Wagner for Thomas Hassler.
And Geoff Aunger comes out of the game, and in comes David Norman, Mr. Dynamo in midfield.
Both substitutions at 20 minutes in the second.
David Norman, the 32-year-old member of the '86 World Cup team in Mexico, currently plays with the Vancouver 86ers. Frank Yallop will play it all the way back. And so Canada has now made 5 substitutions, Graham, and they're allowed one more. They may call you yet. You got your boots?
I hope they don't make another one. I got nowhere to put them down on my team sheet. Everything's full up here.
Rudi, watch your back!
Hear the shouts, Rudi, watch your back, Rudi, watch your back. You have to call to each other. You have to let people know who's behind you, who's available. And Craig Forrest doing a superb job of that right now. He's calling to his defenders, letting them know who's making the blind run. He has to do that. He's the general at the back.
Berthold. Strunz played it forward.
And for once, Sammer didn't want to go forward. He said, I've gone forward enough. I'm going to stay back here and get my breath back. Goalkeeper, it's so important that he talks to his defenders, pulls them around, pushes them here, there, because he's got the whole of the field in front of him, and Craig Forrest does it very well.
We talked at halftime about this week-long stay by the Germans near Toronto. It's costing them about $90,000 as they have taken over complete 90 rooms at the Nottawasaga Inn as Matthias clears.
And knowing the Germans, it'll be $90,000 well spent. They have obviously researched the locations. It's similar to where they're going to be in Chicago, probably, and they leave nothing to chance.
Strunz for Basler, and the give and go doesn't. Strunz looks like he may have pulled an ankle or a hamstring, and quickly the training staff and the Germans are short-handed. Hooper, give and go. Mobilio, edge of the box. Pulls it back. Goal. Colin Miller had a look at it. Another possible injury problem for the Germans. It remains 1-0 in front of a sold-out 20,000 in Toronto. Treatment continues on Thomas Strunz after he seemed to turn his ankle. That's why that give and go really didn't work, Graham.
Oh, well, I think that the surface under the grass is rather hard. He played it away, and then he reaches for the back of his leg, and it looked as if that could well be a hamstring pull. Strunz down in agony, but he's still on the touchline now, and Germany have had to make another substitute.
And coming into the game is Maurizio Gaudino. Maurizio Gaudino wearing number 15.
And this is the difference between a real game and an inter-squad game. You stretch for balls that you wouldn't stretch for in an inter-squad game, and full muscles will result. There's Maurizio Gaudino, plays for Eintracht Frankfurt. Strong midfielder, loves to come forward.
Mateos under pressure on this near sideline. Throw into Canada. Dasovic up to apply a little pressure to Bodo Illgner. Oh. As Doliscat and Yallop get a little confused. And now it's Colin Miller, lays it square for Doliscat. Colin Miller. Gaudino with his first touch. Wagner. Following up neatly, there's Völler. Riedel has made a run, and now the foul is on the Canadian.
Well, Rudi, if you're going to give it, you're going to have to take it. That's 2-1 in your favor still.
Brehme will take this free kick. Riedel moves up. Gaudino. Here comes Berthold.
Here comes the big man. Look out. Whoa, they're all up there.
Elmer is up. And here comes Sammer. Cuts it in. And up and over Völler. And it'll be a throw in.
And you could hear Craig Forrest. Rudi, you don't have to dive in there. Craig Forrest shouting all the time.
David Norman. As you can hear him tell David Norman, you've got time to clear.
Ball. What a great ball by Matthias to switch the angle.
And again, David Norman, you have plenty of time to bring it up this left side, says Craig Forrest. Lyndon Hooper. David Norman. Carter. Oh, Riedel is there to apply some pressure. And now Riedel. His right ankle. And he'll try to walk it off.
I got a feeling they may be using the wrong studs or cleats, as the North Americans call it. We've seen 5 ankle injuries.
Miller plays it square for Randy Samuel. Doliscat is wide right. He chips it into the middle, looking for Catliffe. Sammer. Matthias now brings it to midfield. Gaudino. Basler. Dick Howard.
Yes, Vic, a good point there by Graham about studs. The German, most of the players are using 6 studs. The Canadian players using a multi-stud, and I think it's quite a hard surface, and it certainly contributed to Strunz's injury. It looked as though it was a hamstring. He was being treated down here by the bench, but certainly the choice of boots today was a factor, and maybe could have caused a couple of these injuries we've been seeing recently. Good point, Graham.
Little give and go. Riedel tries to heel it through for Völler and can't.
Oh, what a ball.
What a lovely ball by Matthias as he finds Wagner wide on the left, and then Yallop will clear for Canada.
And Randy Samuel having a quick glance over to the near side here for Brian Wigington. Obviously the Canadians thought that was offside, and the tackle's now getting a little lazy as the players tire. Lyndon Hooper there, nothing vicious as he brings down Basler. Actually, it's Sammer who turns well. Lyndon Hooper a little late, but tiredness coming into play now, and the timing just goes a little.
And another substitution for Canada. Their final substitution as Lyndon Hooper comes out of the game, and John Limniadis, one of the veterans of this Canadian national side, played most of his professional career in Greece, now plays with the Montreal Impact of the APSL. John Limniadis is into the game for Lyndon Hooper.
And Lyndon Hooper had a great game. Did really well in midfield, and he deserves a rest now.
Colin!
Bosler with the free kick. And rattles it off of Catliff, and that three-man wall set up by Canada. And the offside is called by the near side linesman, Mr. Brian Wigington.
And John Catliff will not enjoy that. His knee swollen as it is, and Basler just wrapped that free kick right onto his knee.
Matthias, then David Norman following up. John Limniadis will pick up his 34th cap for Canada.
And he just slots into Lyndon Hooper's place in midfield. Played very well in the first half against Brazil, filling the hole on the right wing, preventing the Brazilian fullback from overlapping too often.
He played with Panathinaikos in Greece for about 4 years and now has returned to Canada.
Easy for you to say.
Thank you. Riedel turns. Yallop following him, and now David Norman comes back, and Riedel still in control, and this time it goes off of Ian Carter, and it'll be a corner for Germany. Approximately 15 minutes remaining here in this second half. It remains 1-0, the only goal by Matthias Sammer in the 30th minute. Mario Bosler to take this corner for Germany. Headed away by Frank Yallop, who has played very well in the back four for Canada. Norman chips it ahead looking for Rudi Völler, and then Brehme in control, gives it to the captain, Lothar Matthäus.
Good run.
Brehme, oh, what a lovely run. Gaudino, Bowler, oh yes, and there is Craig Forrest, who read it wonderfully to snatch it away from Rudi Völler.
What a heads-up play by Mauricio Gaudino. Beautiful run, and instead of trying to hit it from a bad angle, laid it square to Völler. Forrest read it beautifully.
Berthold, Bosler, Völler and Riedel are now the forwards as Berthold makes an overlapping run. Riedel makes his starting run for the top of the area, and it's cut away by Randy Samuel. Ian Carter, David Norman, and back chips it up for Catliff. Catliff can control, and Sammer, the goal scorer, is there for Germany, and it'll go as a Canadian throw-in. John Limniadis. Oh, Limniadis has absolutely no time, and then Samuel. And the offside is on Völler, who is actually in and behind Samuel.
Sometimes you wonder if Völler's speed punishes him a little bit because he's so quick off the mark. Just as the ball's played, he makes his run and he appears offside when the ball gets there.
Brehme and Dasovic at midfield. Well, Völler wasn't really expected to be part of this side this year, was he?
Oh yeah, I don't think you can leave out a striker like Rudi Völler, and he combines so well with Jürgen Klinsmann.
Wagner on the far side and Doliskat, and Wagner will keep it in play. But I thought he had retired. He didn't want any more of international competition.
Well, when the World Cup comes around, that's not really international competition. That is the elite, and for him to get another chance at the World Cup final, I think I would make a comeback if I could get a chance. This is something special, the World Cup, and Völler can contribute. There's no doubt about it.
And so you think that it will be Völler and Klinsmann up front and not Klinsmann and Riedel?
No, I think the first choice would be Völler and Klinsmann. Riedel is great coming off the bench, but I think he would start with Völler and Klinsmann.
Gaudino lays it back for Bosler. Now Riedel and Völler are in the middle. Riedel at the far post will try and keep it in play, and does. Plays it back. This is Brehme. Brehme cuts it in. Cleared away by Limniadis. Bosler forward. Ian Carter to take control for Canada, and he has John Catliff.
Oh.
David Norman
that was late.
A 50-50 ball, and Bosler and Norman are both down.
Well, Basler stretched. It was never his ball. It was always David Norman's ball. Basler stretched. Norman got to it first. Basler followed through, and it looked as if he's hot more than David Norman is. But this was never Basler's ball. Norman gets to it first, plays it away. Basler dives in late and looks as if he may have twisted his knee, and Berti Vogts is not at all pleased with the amount of players who are going down. They're going down like 9 pins.
And you could see that Bosler immediately called for the bench and the training staff, and out very quickly.
Well,
both players remain down and being treated by the respective staffs of Germany and Canada. Reminder, stay with us right after the game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Armor All. Both coaches are up and off their benches, as it appears that the Germans will make a substitution to replace Bosler. And it's interesting now, they've brought the backboard in for Bosler, and this may be more serious, possibly broken. I don't want to speculate, though.
Probably a badly torn knee. The problem with Basler's tackle was that he really wasn't in position to make the tackle. David Norman got to the ball first. Basler was overstretching. He just went a little too far and dangerous. And just before the World Cup, this is the thing that the coaches dread.
Now getting ready to come into the game and wearing number 11 is Stefan Kuntz, the 31-year-old from Kaiserslautern, as he will replace Hassler. It's interesting because when you see the foot, it actually catches Norman almost at waist height.
He certainly was late in coming in. Norman had played the ball. Perhaps he tried to get out of Norman's way and caught him as Norman went past, but he certainly was at full stretch, and you never like to see this in any sport. And prior to the World Cup, I'm sure that our German viewers will be a little concerned that Mario Basler is being carried off
now
on a stretcher.
This raises the question, can they, the Germans, appeal to the international body and say, because of injury, we need to replace one of our people prior to the World Cup?
Well, they can appeal, but whether or not FIFA will allow them to replace, that's another thing, because they have submitted their final lineup. Their final lineup squad with official numbers is gone and the door's closed. So
22 players had to be declared as of last Friday night, midnight, to the FIFA office in Switzerland. David Norman, Catlif, Limniadis gets away from the push of Gaudino. Ian Carter floats it across, and he tried to hit Dasovic, but it curved the wrong way. To this near sideline, and it'll be Ian Carter. Dick Howard, you have an update on the injury?
Yes, Vic, I was chatting to Dr. Rudi Gittens, the Canadian doctor. He doesn't think it's a break the way the player went in, Basler. He thinks he might have just overextended himself and obviously as a precaution carried him off. But hopefully it's not a case where it's a serious injury and he'll be missing the World Cup. But that's the word from Dr. Rudi Gittens. Back to you, Vic.
Thank you, Dick. As the Germans come back on the attack, Stefan Kuntz, who replaced Bosler, has his first touch. Now it's Völler. Sliding it through for Gaudino. Keeps it in play. And it'll be a throw-in as Ian Carter got over for Canada.
Well, Berti Vogts may be worried, but I'm sure this is the kind of contest he wanted going into the World Cup. He doesn't want to have a walkover. He wants to have a serious challenge, and Canada's certainly giving his side a serious challenge.
Little give and go. Brehme and Riedel doesn't work. Ian Carter steps away from Gaudino. Now it's Mobilio. Oh, Mobilio. Berthold pushed it back and a little bit too far as Mobilio couldn't make up the space.
But Illgner is very good at coming out and helping his defense when they're under pressure like that. He accepts the ball back and controls it well.
Wagner chips it far post. This is Völler, heels it back. Gaudino left foot. Gaudino.
Unlucky. That would have been a classic goal. Sold David Norman the dummy and then tried to curve it into the top corner, and you can see the crowd just loving it. Great effort, Maurizio. It really was. Watch Völler backheel it. Gaudino propends he's going to shoot, cuts it past David Norman, then tries to curl it into the top corner. Just doesn't quite get enough bend on it, but that would have been a great goal. I love to see players try and bend it into the top there.
Lothar Matthäus, I'm a little surprised, Graham, that the captain is going to play what it seems to be this entire game.
Well, I'm a little surprised that he's played the entire game without really making the kind of contribution you'd expect Lothar Matthäus to make. He's a brilliant player, but he really hasn't taken charge of the game as he should.
We've only seen on maybe one or two occasions where he has brought the play up with him and actually led the attack. And as you say, it might be more to do with the way the Canadians are playing.
Or else he's just making sure that he conserves his energy. He's got 7 games to go in the World Cup, and an old pro like Matthias is not going to overstretch himself today.
Catlif, Mobilio, Dasovic, he lays it back. This is Mobilio. Now can he turn and do something with it? Mobilio!
Corner kick.
Off of the foot of Thomas Helmer.
And Matthias Sammer is screaming at referee Stephen Lodge. It was obviously a corner kick. Even Matthias is complaining to the referee.
Limniadis near post and headed away by Matthias. David Norman, Limniadis looking for Mobilio. Oh, a couple of German defenders get all tied up there in trying to clear, and now it's curved back by Colin Miller. Dick Howard.
Yes, Vic, I was just chatting to members of the medical staff of the German team. They're taking him to the hospital just for cautionary x-rays. They don't think it's a break. They're concerned about the knee area and the area just below the knee. And that's what's going to happen now with Mario Basler. But hopefully not a break. They don't think so at the present time.
Oh,
back to you, Vic.
Thank you, Doloscat. Feeling and hearing Rudi Völler quickly approach, just clears it wide left.
Well, there's someone in the crowd blowing a whistle, and
yes,
it's really disconcerting for the players.
Wagner trying to get through. Riedel gets it back.
Impossible to keep that out. Völler, Riedel, they all had a go at it. And finally, it's deflected past. Rudi Völler can't believe that it's not 2-0 Germany. Well, how does this stay out? Has to be a goal, you think. Riedel gets the first chance, then it rebounds off Samuel to Völler, shakes his head in disgust.
And Craig Forrest thanks Ian Carter now to this far post, and controlled by Limniadis to Mobilio. Interesting that Dasovic now has come wide left as they try to spring Colin Miller. And here's an opportunity for Canada. Mobilio
Good tackle.
and Wagner with the sliding tackle for Germany. Mobilio lays it off. Limniadis. Mobilio. Catlif is at the far post, and that's where they're going to look.
Oh, anything within the 5-yard box is meat and potatoes for Bodo Illgner, German goalkeeper. Very, very good in the air. Brilliant hands.
We're under 3 minutes here at Varsity Stadium on the campus of the University of Toronto. And I'm sure, again, injury time to be added on by Mr. Stephen Lodge. It remains 1-0 Germany on the goal by Matthias Sammer in the 30th minute. And Sammer with the touch now at midfield for Brehme as the Germans start to move their people around. As Brehme now has come to the right. Matthias moves up into play, Graham. David Norman, wide right. Nick Dasovic, Wagner there. Rudi Völler makes the run. Kuntz, step for step, Völler. Oh, and the sliding tackle as Helmer gets over.
Dominic Mobilio just limped off, obviously in pain. This field certainly has taken its toll today, and if you thought this was a friendly, think again, folks.
And the Canadians now forced to play it, and an extra ball has come on the field. The referee not seeing it, and
Brehme just casually knocks it back out of touch. Give one to each side, then we'll have a great time out here. Oh, unlucky, well played.
The Canadians have made their 6 substitutions as Limnialis couldn't control the bounce of the ball, and he'll play it back for Yallop. Mobilio remains on the bench, so the Canadians will appear to play the rest of this game one man short, Graham.
But as you'd expect, the Canadians are a little more comfortable with this temperature and this weather. The Germans still trying to get acclimatized. Look a little weary right now. They're still winning 1-0, but they're not taking charge of the game as you'd expect at this late stage anyway. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, Doliscat takes it in the face, and then as he turned, and now the foul. Dick Howard.
Yes, Vic, Berti Vogts speaking to the official about some of the challenges of the Canadian team. Obviously, very competitive game, but he's expressed some concern with the injuries, but I would be more concerned with the footwear for the German team. You know, we talked earlier about the 6 studs as opposed to multi, and it's affecting the challenges and their balance on the game.
Colin Miller curves it in. John Catliffe gets up, and another clash of heads. Catliffe is still down as he got up with Matthias.
Well, we saw Jürgen, Kohler and Samuel clash in a similar situation. When the ball hangs up there and the centre half and the centre forward both go for it, their eyes on the ball, they really don't see the other player there. Colin Miller chips the free kick in. Catliffe goes for it strongly. Matthias challenges him and heads collide, and down they go. If you thought it was a friendly, no way. There's no such thing. Matthias and Catliffe determined it was going to be their ball.
Matthias
heads. Wow, that's dangerous.
Sorry, Graham. Matthias is the first player up, but John Catliffe is still down and being treated by the Canadian training staff.
Actually, Lothar Matthias did very well to even get half of that ball against Catliffe in the air. No comparison size, and the former little midfielder doing a superb job at the back.
Dr. Geoff Haig is now out to have a look at Catliffe, and now out as well is Berti Vogts.
You know, they compare Lothar Matthias with the Kaiser, Frank Beckenbauer. They both started as midfield players, both went back to play as sweeper. Lothar Matthias more of a workman-like player. Frank Beckenbauer majestic as he used to come striding forward, but certainly both of them have done so well for this German side and past German sides.
And both of them able to talk about it. Then it'll be something that John Catliffe will remember, certainly, that he got a chance to play and indeed clashed heads with Lothar Matthias.
With Lothar Matthias.
Final few moments here in Toronto, and Colin Miller will clear for Canada. Dominic Mobilio is back into the game for Canada, so sides now even up.
Limping around, so I don't think Dominic's going to be much of a factor. He's just on to make the numbers up. Hit it, hit it, hit it.
Here's a chance, and he does. Riedel had a go from about 35 yards out. I think the Germans and Rudi Völler can't wait now until this one is over. Limniadis barges through Sammer.
Was? Berti wird es hoffentlich richten. Es gibt noch viel zu tun. Aber an der Stammformation aus dem Österreich-Spiel führt kein Weg vorbei. Aber Kalle, wir haben über Mannschaftsteile diskutiert. Die scheinen im Moment gar nicht mehr so wichtig zu sein. Die wichtigste Abteilung ist die medizinische des Deutschen Fußballbundes an den nächsten Tagen.
Ja, der Vorteil der Mannschaft ist natürlich, dass sie auf vielen, vielen Positionen ganz einfach doppelt besetzt ist, doppelt gut besetzt ist, muss man direkt sagen. Wenn ein Spieler dann ausfällt, wie zum Beispiel Buchwald, dann kann er eben nahtlos im Moment durch einen Berthold oder Elmer ersetzt werden. Und darauf bleibt zu hoffen, ganz einfach, wenn...
Völler! Tor! Hat ja doch noch gepasst für Rudi Völler. Das Erfolgserlebnis hat er sich für die letzten Sekunden aufgehoben. Und dieses Mal war es so, Ecke Brehme, zwangsweise, weil er nun rechts spielt, von der rechten Seite. Wieder ein Maßeckball dieses Mal. Ersten Halbzeit war es eine Flanke von Andi Brehme, von Riedle. Sehr schön verlängert. Kommt nur einer ran an solche Bälle. Im Rückwärtslaufen köpft er den Ball noch, so dass einer ihn verwerten kann. Und Rudi Völler mit dem 2:0.